So now, comparing our prokaryotic bacterium friend to our plant cell and animal cells, let's go down the list and see where they are similar and where they are different before concluding. Sound good? So, looking down the list, we see that prokaryotic cells, plant cells, and animal cells all have some form of genetic material, DNA, within them. Now, our plant and animal cells have their DNA within a membrane-bound organelle called the nucleus. Prokaryotic cells just have it free-floating in a central region called the nucleoid region, but that's just a region. It's not an organelle. All three of these type of cells also have ribosomes. They all have a cell membrane or a plasma membrane, and they all have cytoplasm. Now, prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells all have cytoskeletal components. They all have a sort of protein filament network that helps maintain their shape, 3D structure, and ability to move around. However, the cytoskeletal components in prokaryotic cells is really not as well known or understood as they are in eukaryotic cells. So for the purposes of this class, just know that prokaryotes do have a cytoskeleton or cytoskeletal network, but when we talk about our microtubules, microfilaments, and intermediate filaments, we are talking about eukaryotic cellular components to their cytoskeleton specifically. Now, prokaryotic cells and plant cells, they are similar in that both have a cell wall. Prokaryotic cells and animal cells are similar in that they can both have a flagella. Not all animal cells have this, mind you, however, this is something that they can have in common. Plant cells do not have flagella. And so this is where the overview and the similarities between our prokaryotic friends and eukaryotic friends ends in terms of their organelles. Now, moving on to comparing different eukaryotic cells to each other, specifically our plant cells to our animal cells. All eukaryotic cells have a nucleus, as well as their nuclear envelope with nuclear pores, and a nucleolus. They all have cytoskeletal components, specifically our microtubules, microfilaments, and intermediate filaments. Both our plant and animal cells have an endoplasmic reticulum, both smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. They both have a Golgi apparatus. They both have mitochondria. They both have vesicles for transport, and they both have vacuoles. However, keep in mind, not all animal cells will have vacuoles, but many do. And they tend to be somewhat smaller, whereas in plants, they tend to be pretty large. That is where looking at our plant versus animal cells similarities ends. Moving on to where they are unique, our plant cells have chloroplasts, whereas most animal cells do not. I'm always careful to say most because as science progresses, we tend to find new and crazy and interesting things. But for the purposes of this class, just keep in mind that we are going to say that chloroplasts are associated only with plant cells. In contrast, animal cells are known to have cilia and lysosomes, which are two structures you will not tend to find in plant cells. All right, and this concludes our overview discussion comparing prokaryotes to eukaryotes. Go ahead and move through the rest of this lesson learning about the specific details of different organelles, and have fun!